Well, good evening and hello from a rather sunny South Georgia here just northeast of the Atlanta metropolitan area and literally across the street from Road Atlanta. This is the Lanier National Speedway. And if you followed racing in the Southeast for a while, you'll say, wait, I thought that place was paved. Well, it was until the iRacing people decided to throw some dirt on it, and they have made one racy little racetrack here at Lanier National Speedway. So the Lucas Oil POWRi Midget Racing League here on iRacing has taken to the track, and they've got about 10 minutes or so left in this practice and hot lap session. And we will go to time trials as we get set the rest of the evening. Again, a pretty quick program, as you've come to know here through all of our different channels, POWRi TV, Speed Sport TV, and all of our affiliates. Tonight, we expect again up to 7 heats and then alphabet soup to ultimately a 40-lap A main. And that has been action-packed every single time that we have come on air here during this makeshift racing season, the virtual racing season, if you will. Didn't really know it had a season, so to speak, but it kind of has one now. The good news is various tracks across the country slowly starting to explore opening up as various state economies begin to release the restrictions placed upon them. So we expect to see real race cars at real race tracks sooner rather than later. In fact, if you're watching on the Speed Sport TV channels, there are some events coming up here this weekend. Some on dirt, some on pavement, and we certainly hope to see the POWRi TV shows rolling out very, very soon as tracks and states get all their details squared away for real racing yet again here in 2020. Just about 8.5 minutes left in this session. We'll be back in a little bit to bring you through time trials as we get set to line them up and go racing here at Lanier National Speedway, part of the Lucas Oil POWRi West Midget Racing League here on iRacing. And again, welcome those of you watching on our social channels. If you're just tuning in here, yep, there's dirt on the Linear National Speedway. A little 3/8 mile just northeast of the New York of the South, Atlanta, Georgia, and across the street from the famed road course, Road Atlanta. And when we say across the street, we literally mean across the street. In fact, just outside turns 3 and 4, you can catch the S's essentially of Road Atlanta if you look just carefully enough. So we aren't lying to you. Yeah, that's literally across the street. But nonetheless, tonight we have thrown dirt on it here in iRacing, and iRacing very, very true to form as far as reality is concerned. But every now and then they have a little bit of fun. And since this racetrack has been reconfigured since it was originally scanned, they said, heck, why not? We need a few more dirt tracks on here. Let's give it a shot. And they threw some old Georgia clay down this puppy, and it's become a very racy little racetrack. You see racers all over from up top of the outside wall and the cushion to down low against that inside wall. And despite that inside wall, still very, very a great amount of room here to get things done. So we look forward to a fun and entertaining race here this evening, all part of the Lucas Oil POWRi West Midget Racing League here on iRacing. Of course, next week, these teams and drivers, we head into the Eldora Speedway, the Big E, up in Rossburg, Ohio. Look forward to that. That's going to be very different compared to some of the places we've been. Just hammer down, throw in the corner, and dig, most likely. So that one's going to be very unique, I am sure. But for now, the task at hand is to tackle the Linear National Speedway. Of course, you see practice going on, just about a minute and a half remaining in these hot laps. Oh, clearly somebody's excited. I guess that's always a good thing. If somebody's excited, never a bad thing. I'd be a little excited too. So about a minute or so left, we'll hit time trials here and be right back with you on the POWRi West Midget Racing League here on iRacing and POWRi TV and our affiliates. Just like that, folks. Time to hit the track for time trials. These are the laps that ultimately are going to matter. And we'd like to welcome you into our broadcast here from the Linear National Speedway. And looking at practice, well, you would expect Will Armitage, Emerson Axum, Dason Persley. They would be some of the guys to maybe have a shot at the pole here, at least the Fast Time Award. Jesse Love, Andrew Laser also there, a number of others as this track that traditionally kind of dries out fairly quickly. So you'll see that bottom groove or that middle groove, I should say, kind of burn in, and then they'll be spread all over the racetrack to see where and how and everything else they're going to get figured out. So this track's certainly going to stay very dynamic, keep everybody on their toes over the course of the evening. And at the moment, Will Armitage, fast time overall in the 11 car, 14.513, his lap of record. That's 3/10 off the time set in hot laps. James Tiernan just 2,000ths off. Brian Bennett, Bryce Dews, Jake Denny just moved into P5. And that's going to actually take that now. He moves up to P4 with a lap as the standings continue to move around with cars and drivers finishing their laps. Armitage still the man with the time to beat at a 14.513. Axum and Love slot right into 3 and 4. Blake Brandon now is up to 5th. And a new fast time, well, check that, 2 new fast timers Emerson Axum with a 4:14 to the top of the pylon. And Aiden Purdue also, he held that top spot for just a split second here. And that quickly, Robert Dalby is going to knock them off the point. And he currently on the pole for heat race number 1 with a couple of drivers still yet to record a time trial lap. For the most part, everyone has clocked in. Dalby, Axum, Purdue, Armitage, Tiernan, Love, and Blake Brannon, currently the top 7. Those will be the drivers who will lead them to the green flags in the respective heat races coming up here in just a few moments. About 2 minutes into what's a 5-minute session. So a few other drivers get a chance to maybe make a lap or two over the course of the evening, including James Tiernan is out there making just extra laps, getting a little bit extra practice in as he tries to find some sort of something here. Trey Marcham out there playing turtle as well on his car. Sam Johnson out there practicing. Kenny Miller also finishing up a run. He was 14th fastest overall. Darren Nada out. He's currently 21st in his yellow ride. Chance Crum also on track again, just making some more circuits. Trying to get a little bit of practice in his 83 ride. Sure, they had a half an hour hot laps, but these laps don't really count. Anything after the checkered flag in your qualifying run, but you know what? Stop you from making more circuits. As other drivers on track include Ace McCarthy, who was 20th fastest after his first and second lap. So McCarthy going to be P3 in heat race number 6, roughly. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do. Only drivers yet to record a time include Trevor Littlejohn and Chris Townsend. Both of those drivers have yet, as we said, to log a lap, currently being scored 51st and 52nd on the leaderboard. So probably have a shot here to come out and take a couple laps if they haven't already. Maybe they're just choosing to start the tail of their heats as the clock continues to wind down. Of course, this would be a good time to remind you that we're getting ever closer to the race season firing back up finally. It seems like it's been an eternity, but luckily we're going to be able to go racing in some parts of the country sooner rather than later. And we certainly hope some midget racing and sprint car racing is on the docket. That being said, you can go ahead and tune right in on POWRi TV. Go ahead and get your subscription now, and you can have all kinds of content live, on demand, and then some. As the season soldiers on, you can relive any particular event that POWRi has on the platform, and even see the new ones as they unfold. Depending on where you're at, you might be stuck watching racing on TV for quite a while. So POWRi TV would be a huge investment that we would recommend for you. And of course, all the Speed Sport family of networks, POWRi TV, proud to be part of the Speed Sport TV network. We're glad to have you around. So plenty of those coming about with you as well. Meanwhile, heat race number 1 is ready to go. Robert Dalby is on the pole for this one.
Black monkey dildo.
So this field is lined up. Robert Dalby can be the first one across the line in his number 4 car once we get rolling here. Dalby, Jesse Love, Bryce Dews, Mason McGee, Jake Trainer, Cale Drake, Riley Emming, Nate Vanderwacker, and Tyler Robbins going to make up the field in this one. 9 cars strong, be 6 heats tonight. Top 3 will make their way into the main event. So top 3, the magic number here at Lanier. At the moment, that means Bryce Dews is in the transfer spot. So it comes around a rather packed grandstand here at Lanier. These 9 cars just a few moments away, 10 laps the distance in this one. And Dalby and Love on the front row with Dews, McGee, Trainer, Drake, and others in tow as the pace truck gets ready to make the hard left-hand turn through the inside pit wall. And just like that, green flag is in the air. Contact already on the front row, and that's not good for Jesse Love. He ends up in the outside wall, turned around backwards. His heat race lasted all of about 1 corner. And that means Jake Trainer and others, well, they are going to have a shot at getting the job done here. He is racing alongside Mason McGee for P3. Bryce Dews is there in the middle of that one. It's a solid 3-way fight for the second spot as they make their way to turns 3 and 4. Well, call it a 5-way fight for the third spot now. Trainer joined by Cale Drake. Nate Vanderwacker there in the middle of that one. They start to get things sorted out. So Trainer now back in 5th. Drake is up to 4th. The top 3 beginning to pull away. McGee fighting for 2nd now. Hits the inside wall. That car goes up in the air, and he completes the pass in the process. Well, a highlight reel pass. I don't know what is. Bryce Dews tries to replicate the feat, cannot do it, and while these two are continuing to fight amongst themselves, that's allowing everyone else to close in, led by Cale Drake. As Drake has problems that time over in turns 3 and 4. So his shot at transferring into the A main is just that, shot. So we're quickly getting towards the end of this one. Lap 7 complete, 3 laps to go. The field now working around the bottom. Right now that's where all the moisture seems to be here at Lanier National Speedway. So everyone just sort of riding the inside, except for maybe the leader, Robert Dalby. Dalby is up there on the cushion, pushing it hard. Everyone else trying to make time the short way around. It appears that not going to work out very well for them, at least for the moment, as they come off turn number 4. White flag is in the air this time. That's going to settle it in this one. Just like that, Robert Dalby, Bryce Dews, and Jake Trainer make their way into tonight's A main event. So Emerson Axum here in heat race number 2 is going to lead him down to the green flag, followed by Blake Brannon, Kenny Miller, Darren Nada, Sam Johnson, Ryan Timms in the 5, Jake Smith the 45, Cody Barnes in the 33, Trey Harrison, the tail of the field. So first pace lap concluded. The second one will be when we decide to turn them loose. They'll get that signal this time around. Axum in the 42 down the inside. See that yellow car up there, that's Darren Nada. They're leaving a lot of room to the pace car. Axum looks like he's going to be getting a very early start as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Pace car is nearly down to the safety of pit lane, creeping down around 35 miles an hour is the field. Pace car is in, and Axum, as suspected, very early on the gas. Jump out to the early lead in turn number 1. Behind him, Kenny Miller, Blake Brandon, all of them trying to make things happen. Miller seems to have slid into second for the time being now. Brandon third, working the cushion. Behind him, there's Ryan Timms in the middle of things. Jake Smith trying to work the bottom as well. That's happening just out of the transfer spot. Meanwhile, up front, Axum's got company. Blake Brandon is there, or excuse me, Kenny Miller is there. Miller mimicking his every move as Brandon rides in third, relatively safe in the final transfer spot. A couple of cars got tangled up further back. That hasn't affected the transfer though. Slipped that time for Miller. That's going to allow Axum just a little bit more breathing room as now Brandon tries the outside. We'll slide down in the middle, and the top 3 fairly separated as they continue to race here. Trying to find themselves a way into the A main. The fight for fourth, though, it's a good one. Jake Smith, Ryan Timms, Smith in the bottom of the racetrack. And Jake kind of what we call derped out, blinked out, if you will. And those two are now closing in on Brandon for P3. So it was a fairly decided transfer spot. May not be for long. Timms tried the slider. Brandon said, nuh-uh, no you don't, not here. We'll work their way back into turn number 3. Smith continues to work the bottom. Jake does. He just caught the inside wall that time. Keeps rolling, but now his shot of transferring is gone. He caught the inside wall in the tire barrier that separates the butt end of the wall from traffic. So now it's all Ryan Timms and Blake Brandon. This time by 2 laps to go. The leader still Axum. Timms, slide job, contact. Oh, Timms has it. Brandon's not going to be happy about that. Brandon overcooks it in turn number 3. He's losing ground. Now with the white flag in the air. Well, you can call him how you see him. That one might have been filthy. I don't even know about dirty. That one might have been just filthy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Axum gets the heat race win, followed by Kenny Miller. Ryan Timms takes third and 4th spot. First man on the outside looking in. Blake Brandon going to have to come through the B main, as will Harrison and Nada and everyone else through the alphabet soup. Jake Smith, Cody Barnes, and Sam Johnson. And folks, tell us where you're watching from, who you might be cheering for. And this one, of course, a number of drivers from various disciplines of POWRi racing across the country, be it the national tours, the regional deals, the sprints, midgets, you name it. Various teams for that matter, some just virtual drivers, some not so virtual drivers, and some doing the double up. I want to say hi to our friend Matt Chinaski, one of the folks from up at the paved Jennerstown Speedway. He's tuned in. I want to say hello to him. He's been pretty active in iRacing the last few weeks because, well, there's not a whole lot to do in Pennsylvania right now. We know it's an open wheel racing mecca, and in fact, one track up there, they finally got a waiver to allow testing. Yeah, they're keeping them clamped down pretty good up in Pennsylvania. Some other states, however, have permitted some open testing and things of that nature, so it just sort of depends on where you're at and where you live. Again, we look forward to the racing season starting sooner rather than later at various places across the country. In fact, as we mentioned, some races now on the Speed Sport TV network that will be contested, or at least are scheduled to be contested this weekend. You can check them all out on speedsport.tv and the various affiliates, some of which are airing tonight's programming. So check them out if you're so inclined. You want to see race cars? Sign up, get on the email list. We'll be sure to let you know what's coming and when here on the Speed Sport TV network. Again, proud to have POWRi TV as a member of the Speed Sport affiliates. Meanwhile, green flag's out. Aiden Purdue leads him down. Bryant Wiedemann, Sider, McCarthy, Eslick, all part of this one. Laser, Gray, Marlin, and Townsend this one too. Lap number 1 is finished. Purdue up front. Oh, we got some contact further back for about the 4th or 5th spot. Everybody gets away scot-free for the most part. Top 7 virtually nose to tail as they motor down the backstretch through turns 3 and 4. Late lap number 2 this time. The fight is going to be for the 4th position. Rylan Gray, Andrew Laser. Hello, Slider City. That's how you do a slide job here at the Linear National Speedway. You don't do what we saw at the end of last race, although I guess it worked. It wasn't ideal. So Gray has the 4th spot at the moment. Andrew Laser trying to get it, just cannot make it happen. And now Gray is closing in on Wiedemann and Sider for that 2nd and 3rd spot. The top 3 make it into the A main. 10 laps is all you got to get the job done, and Gray is there. This time, go try the bottom. Gray, slide job. Wiedemann says, oh, they'll hook wheels. In the wall is the 06 of Gray. He'll bounce off and keep rolling. Meanwhile, Wiedemann slid to a stop on the front straightaway, and that looks like his shot at transferring into the A is ultimately finished, at least through the heats. So all that's allowed Stefan Sider to get away by about, a good 6-8 car lengths, you can see. Aiden Purdue's gone. He's out front, a 1.2 second advantage. That probably won't be made up here in the next 3 laps, barring any sort of miracle. But Gray, he is digging hard. In fact, last time by, about a tenth and a half faster than anyone in the field for that matter, including the leader, Aiden Purdue. But he too may run out of laps. Just 2 laps to go this time. 8 laps down, 10 laps to go. And Gray, yeah, he's visibly closing in on Stefan Sider. That time, again, another almost 10th of a second. The 2nd lap in a row, he was one of the fastest cars on track. White flag, does Gray have anything? Aiden Purdue's got this one in the bag. He's going to work his way through turns 3 and 4. Aiden Purdue's going to claim the heat race win, the fight for 2nd. Looks like Sider is going to claim it over Rylan Gray, who will race his way into the A. Laser, Townsend, Wiedemann, Eslick, McCarthy, and Martin all going to have to come through the consolation rounds. And let's just say there are some hurt feelings after some of these heat races already. We're not even halfway through them, and there's already some hurt feelings in this. Well, we didn't have a good night at the dirt track list. Somebody was mad and threw a virtual punch, right? Yeah, no, you don't want to see that, but certainly tempers sometimes do flare at some of these events, and we're seeing that here as well. So heat race number 4. Ready to roll out. Dason Pursley, no surprise up front. Trevor Hallman is 2nd in this one. Robert Mancini going to roll off P3 on the inside of the 2nd row. And Riker Pace to his right side shoulder. Brandon Shipley, Anthony Jacina, Noah Branson, Merrill Lamb, and Trevin Littleton scheduled to take the green in this one. Littleton not making the call, so 8 cars going to take the green flag as opposed to 9. In top 3 will qualify directly into the A main. Everybody else through the consolation rounds. And here we go. Pursley, no surprise out front, relatively clean, getting through turns 1 and 2. Everybody made it through that time. Hallman slides into 2nd. Mancini in 3rd. Fight further back. Yep, that's for 4th. Pace and Shipley going at it. Pace has it for now. Whoop, watch out. Okay, we thought about sliders. One car caught the wall down the back stretch. I think that was Merrill Lamb and ended up going over. It's a tough break for him. His heat race ultimately going to be over. It's this fight for 5th again. Solid. There's Shipley and Pace all going at it. Shipley lost a spot to Anthony Jacina, nearly put him up on the outside wall. Jacina had to back off. Get all this outside a transfer spot, but it is the best racing on track at the moment. And Shipley now reclaims 5th. Jacina's back to 6th. Branson rides 7th. As this, remember earlier in the night we saw the track around the bottom kind of start to take a liking to where everybody was running? Well, we said this track will change over the course of the evening, and already you see now everyone prefers the high middle to the outside up on the cushion. So the moisture has gone away on the bottom, and you can kind of see that, how the track is grayed out, darkened up, and everybody's searching for the good stuff. But at the moment, that means the good stuff is up top. This fight for second now. Guess what? Mancini has reeled in Trevor Hallman, and he's trying to find some of that moisture for himself, make it work to his benefit. Already into the second half, almost the final third of this one. This time around, it will be 3 laps to go. But this fight for the second spot, it's a good little battle. Really the only tight race on the Speedway at the moment. Seems to have sorted itself out pretty quickly. Popsicle sticks from the flagman this time. Just 3/4 of a mile to go. 2 laps from the 3/8 mile that is Lanier National Speedway. Hallman holding on to second. Dason Pursley going to see the white flag first out of turn number 4. He'll have the clearest view of it from anyone. And the mud on the virtual visor. And yeah, you think we're crazy, folks. iRacing even models the mud on the visor. You have a button you've got to use for your tear-off. And you can get blinded by mud here in the sim. There is no kidding about that. It's happened more than once to yours truly. Checkers are out. Nonetheless, and Dason Pursley going to qualify his way into the A. Trevor Hallman, Robert Mancini doing the same. Riker Pace, Shipley, Jacina, Branson, Lamb, and Littleton, if he can make it back, going to be able to try to qualify through the consolation rounds. It's a Heat 5, gridding on track. They'll be led to the green flag by the 11 of Will Armitage. Jake Denny, Jake Erickson, Carter Sarf, Chance Crum, Anton Hernandez, Joel Rayburn, and Hunter Fisher in this one. Want to say hello to Jordan Dye watching from Union Grove, Wisconsin. Charles Bray from up around Greensboro, North Carolina. Hey, Charles, you're not too far from my neck of the woods. One of the races we have on Speed Sport TV every year is the famous King of the Concrete, or King of the Concrete, I should say, go-kart race up there at the Greensboro Coliseum. We cover that over at Pit Road TV, and we love Greensboro. Love going through there. Unfortunately, we don't have a POWRi racetrack in Greensboro. That would be kind of cool for sure. We would love to see that, but traditionally they run these in the Midwest, and we are far from the Midwest. Although midgets at a place like 311 or, you know, what else is out here? County Line or some of these places, that would be kind of cool. Be something a little different. Don't know if it would ever happen, but just given the nature of where these cars generally are from, but it would be kind of cool. Meanwhile, Pace Truck is about to make the hard left into the pits, and he'll do so. And that means we are off and racing. Armitage, Denny, Erickson, everybody fanning out. Armitage, the only one is to see a little bit of bumper tag through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide. Sarf making the inside work. Haven't seen that since about the opening heat of the evening. 3 wide yet again, and Armitage slips that time for the race lead. Jacob Denny gonna slide up front. Oh, this is the best one we've seen all night. Carter Sarf, meanwhile, from the bottom slides up to the point for the time being. He now gonna race with Jacob Denny. Oh, this track's getting to a point, it's starting to get mint. Sliders for everyone, contact further back for 5th or so. But it is Sarf and Denny changing the lead. Look who else is in the middle of that one. Erickson's there in the 3rd spot. He wants a piece of the pie. Sarf able to make the inside work right now. Very few sliders from him, at least for the moment. Looks like Sarf seems to enjoy that little bit of moisture you see right there between those 2 dark streaks. He's found a little bit down at 3 and 4, and seems he prefers to top over here in 1 and 2. We'll see if that changes, as we're already halfway through this from 5 laps down, 5 laps to go, and now Denny has moved to the inside lane, trying to chase down Carter Sarf. Looks like Denny's efforts at the moment are going to be all for naught. Erickson behind him, starting to work the top side. Further back, Armitage, he's fallen down to about the 4th or 5th spot, depending which corner you look at it. He and Joel Rayburn continue to fight for that position. 4th and 5th up for grabs. Again, any given corner, it may change. Chance Crump has a piece of that threesome as well. Whoop, little contact. Rayburn is up into the fence and up and over. So that's going to end his heat race chances here, and that means that fight for what was 4th, well, it's not a huge fight anymore as Chance Crump and Will Armitage continue, but white flag is out this time around for your leader, Carter Sarf, making the inside work early, and he's going to cruise that bottom lane through 3 and 4 all the way to victory lane. Carter Sarf going to advance into the A main, followed by Jacob Denny and Jake Erickson. The top 3 into this one. Armitage, who was the pole sitter, Crum, Hernandez, Fisher, and Rayburn, going to have to come through the consolation rounds and pull out a couple of spoons through the alphabet soup. So the final heat of the afternoon. Hard to say afternoon here. Server time, 4:39 p.m. in the afternoon. So it is a hot one. Expecting this place to dry out. And I would imagine the water truck will likely come out after these heats, or at least after the consolation rounds, as the field already set and getting ready to roll behind the pace car. They'll be led down to the green flag with the 9 of James Tiernan leading the pack. Brian Bennett's the 111, Josh Newman's the 3. Chase McDermott, the 40, Kyle Brinkman, the 46. The 2 cars, Luke Howard, Tyler Chalk, and Trey Marcham. Going to bring them down. You see a couple of cars blinking out, flashing, derping as we call it. Essentially what you see, a lot of these drivers based in the Midwest, and word is there are a number of pretty nasty storms in the area, and as many of you know, if you get storms in your area, sometimes it can affect your internet connection, and that is ultimately what you're seeing is what we call lag sometimes, or latency. Essentially, the internet, the connection they're on is having issues whenever you see that. So in case you're curious, now you know what that is and exactly what in the world's happening. What we do know what is happening, and that is the pace car is off, and James Tiernan quickly to the loud pedal will lead him down to turn number 1. He'll choose the high side. Fan out behind him, 2, 3, almost 4 wide. Problems, contact. One car got turned sideways. He'll be able to regain. I think that may have been Trey Marcham with the 51. He'll fall to the tail of the field as everyone's still picking a lane through turns 1 and 2. You continue to see that track and how it changes. Now more moisture is still up top, but again, that lane over in 3 and 4, just above the very bottom, working out pretty well as Tiernan, oh wow, one car nearly caught the tire pack. That would have been second place Josh Newman as they went to turn number 1. Newman is up to second, single file for the top 3. The first fight really is going to be for about the 4th or 5th spot, and even that has sorted out for the time being. Chalk rides 3rd in the 07. It's Brian Bennett immediately behind him, and Bennett, well, needs to get one more position. He's got to race his way into tonight's feature event. Losing a little bit of ground though is Chalk. He's not quite as fast as your leader, James Tiernan, but at least judged by the lap times is faster than all those behind him. So I guess if you're going to race your way in, that's what you got to do, at least beat the guys behind you. That's kind of the important part, is we're already halfway through this one. Tiernan's out to about a 1.1 second lead the last time around. Newman's there, Chalk, Bennett. That's how they run. As this heat, 6th and final one of the evening, pretty calm by heat race standards here tonight. First couple got a little wild and woolly, but everyone in this one able to mind their P's and Q's and have a little bit of patience to get themselves through turns 1 and 2 and continue on. As Tiernan, yet again, stretches out his lead by about 2/10 that last time around. That time by, 2 laps to go. The lead up to about 1.6 seconds on leader James Tiernan. And really no challenges behind him. Tiernan's got this one in the bag. Now Tyler Chalk, on the other hand, with now 1 lap to go, has a small challenge from Brian Bennett, but Bennett back about 3-4 car lengths unless he tries something drastic in turns 3 and 4. Not going to get there, and he does not. So James Tiernan going to race his way into the show, as will Newman, Tyler Chalk, and then everybody else, including Bennett, McDermott, Brinkman, Marcham, and Howard, are going to have to come through the consolation races. And just like that, it is consolation time. No E-main, so that's a good news if you were scheduled to be in the E or thought you might be in the E. Just 3 rounds of alphabet soup, so only 3 spoonfuls of action. You better take your medicine here, folks. 8 laps in the D main. You're going to take 3 up to the C, just as we've seen the rest of the evening. Top 3 is the position you want to be in. Already the field rolling. Tyler Robbins on the pole for this one. Cody Barnes to his outside. Ace McCarthy, Merrill Lamb, and Joel Rayburn on the top 5. Then it's Luke Howard, Cale Drake, Sam Johnson, and Jarrett Martin. As Trevor Littlejohn unable to make the call in this one. That one apparently had problems in hot laps and had to load it on the virtual hauler. Also of note, Ace McCarthy has now parked it, so he is out of this one. We're down to 8 cars slated to take the green flag and line up for the start of the Dolt main. Dolt, because it wasn't really your night so far and you're hoping to fix it. And yes, folks, that's what we do here on iRacing with POWRi TV. We redefine terms and introduce new terms to the racing lexicon. Not so sure the Dolt main will take off, but we like it here. We also may get a bill from 20th Century Fox and Disney for use of a phrase, but nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. Pace truck is off. We are off and racing. Tyler Robbins lost the lead there for just a second, looked like. He reclaims it on the inside. Remember, top 3 is what we're looking at here. Is problems behind him. A couple of them get tangled up, including Cale Drake, and I think it might have been Luke Howard. Hard to tell there. One car up in the barrier over in turn number 3. We stay green. Remember, no cautions in the consolation rounds or the heat races, so you get one chance to not screw it up, and a couple of them already have, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Joe Rayburn on the outside, he's going to steal the lead away from Tyler Robbins. Robbins committed to the inside. We get to see the water truck come out in this one. She continues to dry out and get slicker and slicker. Plenty of moisture up top on the cushion. You see Rayburn rim riding around here at Lanier, and up on the wall he goes. Didn't phase him though, kept his foot in it. May allow Robbins to retake the lead off of turn number 2, and yes, it did. But Rayburn this time now a little bit, well, I almost said a little bit lower on track, but no, he went right up to that outside wall. Everyone else working the bottom, including Jarrett Martin, Cody Barnes, Cale Drake, all trying to race their way into the C main. Remember, top 3 in this 8-lap C. That is popsicle sticks as they cross the line. Just 2 laps to go. Rayburn may have this one in the bag, especially as far as a transfer spot of any sort is concerned. He takes the white flag. Behind him, well, it's almost anybody's race for second between Robbins and Martin. Cale Drake just spun it out of 4th, hit the inside wall, and that's going to solidify the top 3. Rayburn, Robbins, and Martin in a perhaps slightly different order will transfer into the C main here this evening. Martin claimed the spot over Robbins by just a wee little bit that time around. So Rayburn, Martin, and Robbins going to transfer in through the C, or excuse me, into the C from the D main. A little overcast now as the clouds moved in front of the sun here at the Lanier National Speedway, so that's certainly going to change some things. Track temperature cooling down about 82 degrees, and it doesn't mean a whole lot usually. It's more about that moisture content, but you know what? Anytime you can keep it cooler, it's going to hold moisture a little bit longer, and Track temperature now dropping as the clouds continue to stay in front of the sun, so we'll keep an eye on that as the rest of the evening progresses. Field begins to roll off, led by Bryant Wiedemann in the 01, Noah Branson in the 27, Anton Hernandez and Kyle Brinkman are in the next row. Jesse Love's got some work to do in the 97. He starts 5th with Jake Smith starting alongside. William Eslick and Anthony Jacina are 7th and 8th. Hunter Fisher and Trey Marcham slated to go in row number 5. Marcham, it appears, unable to make the call. Joel Rayburn, Jarrett Martin, and Tyler Robbins going to end up with the tail of this one in spots 11, 12, and 13. So early picks among some of the drivers include the 49 of Anton Hernandez. Hernandez had a great run last week at the Chili Bowl and just had some bad luck. We'll see what he can do here this time as he is scheduled to roll off P3 here on the C main. Again, 10 laps, top 3, just like everything else, transfer their way into the big show. Riding pretty calm through turns 1 and 2. Hernandez up to 2nd. Jesse Love now is up to 3rd from a 5th place starting spot. Seems like the inside is definitely where you want to be on a start or a restart. Outside doesn't seem to get that momentum rolling, at least for a lap or two. That's where Noah Brandon and company are trying to run up top. Meanwhile, here goes Hernandez up to the cushion. He'll lay the right rear on it, maybe make a little bit of extra room on it. So Jesse Love wants to take advantage. He's down on the inside, hugging that inside wall. Problems for Eslick. He just spun out a 4th spot all by his lonesome. So looks like his shot at moving to the A is done. Meanwhile, up front, Hernandez continuing to rim ride. I'm impressed with Bryant Wiedemann right now. Wiedemann able to get some grip on the bottom, able to get some forward bite. And that thing just is a rocket ship off the inside. I want to say hi to Josh Gear, Pennsylvania open wheel racer. He's got a sprint car over there somewhere in his garage. He's hoping to race sooner rather than later once those restrictions are lifted in the Keystone State, which ironically is a Commonwealth, not a state. Nonetheless, this battle for the top 3, it's a dandy. Hernandez trying to make something work up top. Love is caught up to Wiedemann, and there is no room for Hernandez to do anything but work the cushion at the moment. Love going to edge ahead into 2nd. For these top 3 are in a qualifying spot, so you don't want to do something stupid if you're one of these 3 drivers just for that 1 extra position in the B main. They are putting on a show, no doubt about that. Wiedemann continuing to work the bottom. Now Love has moved up the racetrack a little bit. You see that track beginning to dry out even more over in turns 3 and 4. A little bit of moisture up on top in turns 1 and 2, but all of that does continue to change here at the moment. Meanwhile, race for the lead as they come down the white flag lap. Hernandez had it last time over Wiedemann at the stripe. Hernandez will take the C main over Wiedemann and Love. All 3 of them transfer in. Martin, Rayburn, and Branson with Smith, Robbins, Jacina, and everyone else. They are done for the night as they wad the proverbial cars up in turn number 1. I guess if you can't transfer in, you might as well make the crew do a little bit of work on the trip home. So the sun back out now as we close in on 5 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock server time, not even Eastern time. 5 o'clock server time as the sun continues to beat down here on the racetrack. In fact, the track temperature going up a couple of degrees now. So we expect a little more deterioration as far as the moisture is concerned. And we do fully expect the water truck to hopefully hit the racetrack. Otherwise, she is going to be dry and slick and a handful for tonight's 40-lap feature. We'll find out what the series officials decide to do as far as track prep is concerned. We all know dry and slick can sometimes make a fantastic race, and we'll find out what track conditions we have for the feature tonight at the conclusion of this B main. So top 6 out of the B going to transfer in. Yes, top 6 out of the B, so a little bit smaller mountain decline. Here's how they'll line up, including McGee, Brandon, Laser, Pace, Armitage, the top 5. Bennett, Emig, Harrison, Townsend, Shipley in 10th. Then the next 7 include Chance Crum, Chase McDermott, Nate Vanderwacker, Darren Nada, who did not make the call, so he will not have a shot to transfer. Hernandez, Wiedemann, and Love, the transferees from the C main, now at the tail of the B. So the pace truck going to make its way to the safety of the pit lane. Mason McGee, Blake Brandon, Andrew Laser, all going to mash the loud pedal as the green flag waves in the starter stand. Flagman Barney waves it very nicely, I must say. And we are off and racing for the 12-lap B main. Laser's got second, but maybe not for long. Will Armitage able to slide his way up into that spot. And further back, they're continuing to fight for it. Brandon, Emig, all of them right there in the top 5, continuing to try to throw some sliders on one another. And this is when you got to pass a guy with no cautions. You got to do it early. You got to get in position quickly. It's the easiest time to pass whenever they're all bunched up. Three and 4 wide for 4th on back. Meanwhile, we got a fantastic race to the lead. Will Armitage, Riley Emig swapping it. They're pulling minor slide jobs on one another. A little bit of bumper tag as they nearly tag the tires in the exit turn number 4. Emig has the top spot, and behind him we finally see somebody make their way up top. That is Chance Crum. He's going to try to take advantage of those guys playing tiddlywinks down the bottom and say, I'm going to go full chutes and ladders on you. Try to shoot right around you on the top side. He does that time. In fact, Crum had the 2nd spot at the timing stripe. But Mason McGee didn't see that one coming, virtual mirror or not. Meanwhile, Emig and Armitage continue to fight for the bottom, right against that inside wall. What very little bit of moisture there might be down there. You see there's a couple of small strips of it. Looks like they're trying to either put the left front in it, drag it around, or maybe get the right rear in there. Either way, it is the shorter way around the racetrack. I don't know if it's the fastest, so to speak, but it definitely is the shortest. That time by, Chance Crum up on the outside. Fastest car on track, 16 flat, his lap time. And he's making the outside work. He's diving that thing down real early, letting it slide up, catch the cushion, trying to motor right around, at least in turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2, quite the opposite. Enters high, exits low. He now has 2nd over Will Armitage. Now he's got a shot at the lead. 2 laps to go, and Chance Crum's got a shot to take this whole B main. Remember, top 6 race their way in. 6th right now, Anton Hernandez, pretty free and clear. Jesse Love is back there. He has raced his way in at the moment as Mason McGee still holds on to his spot. But the race for the lead in this one on the white flag, Chance Crum. On the outside, can he hold it? Emig's going to work the bottom, and yes, Chance Crum going to win the B main. He will transfer into the A. Emig finishes 2nd unofficially with McGee, Hernandez, Love, and Armitage all qualifying into tonight's event. So, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yes, yes, yes. That one was entertaining. And oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. The water truck has been out. The water truck has been out here on a hot afternoon at the Linear National Speedway. Warm-up shall begin. just as cars go on track for the warm-up, our part-time announcer, Chase Rodman, shows up. Glad you can join us.
Yeah, man, that was about as good of timing as it gets here. We're in the warm-up session, ready for a 40-lapper here, Lanier. I'm not going to lie, Tony, I have no idea what has happened up until this point, but really excited to be here once again. These races over the last couple weeks have been super exciting. I've seen some great racing between guys like Jason Bursley, Brendan Rogers, and many other guys, and expected to see some more of that here at Lanier.
Well, we've had a pretty dry racetrack through the heats in the LCQ, and got very racy. The top was dominant, then the bottom, and I mean, they were all over the racetrack. Saw some great racing, no doubt. A bunch of charges through the field, but now as we get set to go feature racing, it's going to be a whole different animal. If they don't burn this thing in during warm-up, she's already starting to dry out in some places.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of guys are hoping that it does slicken up a little bit, but this place at Lanier, I'm telling you right now, Tony, this is one of the best dirt tracks that iRacing has on the sim. I know it's kind of a fantasy track, right? It's a pavement track. They put dirt on it for the sim just to have a couple more dirt tracks. They did the same thing with the USA International Speedway there. But Lanier, I think it should have been a dirt track in the first place because it is incredible racing around this place. These guys get right up next to the fence in the corners, or you can try and slow roll the bottom. Big slide jobs. I'm sure you've seen those a couple times tonight, Tony. And I'm looking at this lineup, man. It's a all-star cast here. 24 drivers, about to cover 40 laps. It's going to be really fun.
Well, it would be cool to see the current owners of Lanier throw some dirt on it. And I'll be honest with you, Chase. I mean, you know me. I enjoy any kind of racing. Straight line, crooked stuff, dirt, pavement, doesn't matter to me. But there is a very rich dirt culture in Northeast Georgia where this track is. And I'm not going to say dirt fixes everything because we've seen racetracks that were paved, threw dirt on it, and didn't have the greatest affair. But at the same time, we've seen dirt tracks throw some tar on it and not have the greatest of time when they went pavement either. So it's not a quick fix by any means, but certainly with tracks like I know Livonia and Toccoa, places like that in this general region, it might be cool if the current owners threw some dirt on it. It might be kind of fun to see what happens.
Is this track, is it still shut down or do they reopen? I thought I heard something about them actually reopening Lanier Speedway because for a while there, Tony, I'm pretty sure it was shut down, right?
Well, it's never really been shut down, Chase. It actually became a parking lot, so to speak. They run a bunch of go-kart events, some drifting events. It's no longer a purpose-built facility for circle track racing of any sort. There have been a few sanctions that have attempted to race some circle track events there with moderate success. And I think that maybe throwing some dirt on it might be the next thing to try. It might not be a bad idea. Some promoter watching just said, yeah, let's do that. And we just gave somebody $1 million idea.
Perhaps that would be a great thing to try out. You never know. Maybe you'll get a better crowd as far as the dirt stuff goes. But I'm pretty sure this track right here, Tony, was probably the first, if not like one of the first 3 or 4 or 5 tracks on the iRacing sim, 10, 11, 12 years ago when iRacing first came out. This track has been on the game for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it certainly has. And yeah, it was one of the first ones they were able to get scanned and get incorporated into the sim. And very versatile track. You run on everything now, right? You're running a street stock, you're running a legend car, a midget, a super late model, pavement, dirt, doesn't matter. There's a version of it for everybody. So that's always a good thing. And of course, right across the street, guess what? Yeah, right across the street is Road Atlanta. So you get all kinds of racing here. And if you're iRacing, you come down, get to scan 2 tracks on one trip. Nothing wrong with that by any means. And 2 very nice racetracks for that matter, I would say. As checkers around this warm-up session, we're about ready to get racing, Chase.
We've got 24 drivers ready to go at it here at Lanier Speedway for 40 laps. And I'm just going to go down the starting lineup, Tony, just because, I slacked a little bit. I just got here a little late, so I'm going to give you a little time to breathe. And I am, and I'm going to do the lineup for you here. So it's going to be Robert Dalby on the pole, defending Western State Midget Champion out in California last year. Emerson Axum outside the front row with him in the 42 car. Aiden Purdue in the 52 inside the second row alongside him. A multi-time winner in iRacing competition over the last couple weeks. The 9 car is Dason Persley. Row number 321 car, Carter Sarf. Outside Sarf, the 9 of James Tiernan. Row number 4 should be Bryce Dews and the 48 car of Kenny Miller. Row 5, Stefan Sadur, and the number 1 car of Trevor Holman. Row number 6 looks like it's supposed to be Jacob Denny and Jake Newman. Row number 7, Jake Trainer, and Ryan Timms back in the 14th spot. Number 8, 15 starter, Rylan Gray, and on the outside of him, Robert Mancini. And behind those guys, you'll see row number 9 with Jake Erickson and Tyler Chalk. Row 10, it looks like Chance Crum and Riley Emig in the 47 car. Behind those guys, your final 4 starters, Armitage, Anton Hernandez, Jesse Love, and Mason McGee. So Anton and Jesse Love, they've got a lot of work to do. Those are some of the top drivers in this POWRi West Midget iRacing League.
Yeah, we've seen that tonight kind of be a theme that ultimately, you know, some of the good guys have had to do a little bit of work, whether it's driving their way through the field or holding off some close challenges. It's been entertaining to say the least, and some of those guys further back I think are going to be it's going to be fun to watch them as we get ready to go green.
The lights are out on the iRacing safety truck, and the field will be in the hands of Robert Dalby and Emerson Axum. As they work into 3 and 4, you'll see that pace truck hang a left to the infield, and there it goes. 40 laps. We're underway here from Lanier National Speedway for the POWRi West Midget League here on iRacing.com.
Watch the field through turns 1 and 2. Everybody kind of fans out. A couple of drivers get hung up with some nerve bars, but for the most part, everybody free and clear. The first sets of corners. Lap 1 is in the books. Robert Dalby, the race leader. Jason Persley, no surprise, up to second. Well, at least for a moment he was. Aiden Perdue slides back into that spot now. Great fight for about 5th or so as they get tangled up on the inside. That included a couple of drivers back there. Trevor Hallman, Kenny Miller, and Emerson Axum caught a piece of that. He lost about 3 or 4 spots, but he's to be saved by the yellow flag as we have got problems over in turn number 1. And Tyler Chalk's night looks like, well, it's delayed at least.
Yeah, Chalk was on the outside of, let me take a look at who this was. It looks like Bryce Dews. They went down the front straightaway, and it looked like Chalk kind of ran his left front into the right rear of Bryce Dews, and they were going to be all right there until Dews' car kind of hung a right down the straightaway, and you know what? There wasn't enough room for that 07 car to sneak by on the outside, Tony. He ramped up the front stretch wall and went for quite the tumble, ended up on his lid, and that'll be the end of Tyler Chalk's night right there.
And tough break for Tyler. He has already put it on the virtual trailer, so lasted all of about 3 or 4 laps for him. That's unfortunate when you get to race your way in and through and get ready for a good run, and misfortune strikes early in a 40-lap feature. But if you're Robert Dalby, that means another chance that you have to endure a restart with guys like Aiden Perdue, Jason Persley, James Tiernan right there on your tail tank, and that's a pretty tall order as we get doubled up and ready to go again.
Looking for the green this time by Robert Dalby and Aiden Perdue, Jason Persley. This is going to be an all-out dogfight, and the track is going to change a whole lot here over the course of these next 34 laps or so as we go back to green. A fantastic restart for Aiden Perdue. He goes to the top. Robert Dalby's going to slide up there right in front of him. Perdue's going to turn it back down to the inside, down the back stretch, but Dalby's got the lead, and another slider coming in from Perdue into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Perdue able to slide. Dalby saw it coming, turned left, but couldn't quite get the drive. Can he do it again in turns 1 and 2? He slides up. Perdue not quite able to get back underneath the him. So Dalby the race leader, at least for half a lap, and we're going to see this song and dance one more time.
I think we're going to see this song and dance here on repeat for the next couple of laps as Dalby not able to clear Perdue. Now he drives it in deep up the racetrack. He's got the spot back. Perdue back to the inside, and here comes the 9 of James Tiernan. Has brought himself into this fight while those two up front to battle it out. Looks like Perdue might have some connection problems here, Tony. There he is. Pops back in on the front straightaway. Nobody able to really have any problems with him there as they're now nose to tail first through about 4th.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier some storms blowing through the Midwest, and Perdue out of Illinois might be subject to some of those in one of the hots somewhere in his connection, basically where that information goes to or through or from. So we'll keep an eye on that, but he now is trying to do the whole slider dance with James Tiernan for P2.
This is some good stuff right here, Tony. We're only a quarter of the way through this race. We've seen more sliders tonight than I think we've seen in all of the races that I've been a part of. Lanier National Speedway putting on a show here as Dalby's now put 5 car lengths between himself and the 39 at Perdue. Look at Dalby there, Tony, taking a different approach to this racetrack. He's throwing a slider on both ends, drives it into the bottom of the speedway on entry, and slides it up to the cushion, really keeping his momentum up as Perdue Tiernan in the lawn upside down.
Tiernan upside down. That was a huge mistake for the driver of the number 9, and yeah, that was bad. Guy running in the 3rd spot. You don't normally see that, Chase.
He flipped so hard he ended up in the catch fence there, and a couple of guys running the cushion decided to come by and put the icing on the cake and hit him a couple more times, and that'll be the end of the night for James Tiernan, who's having a great run up there inside the top 3. But this race so far, there has been at least 10 or 12 or something like that lead changes, but they haven't really been official lead changes because it seems like Dalby's led every lap. It's just he gets passed by every single corner.
Yeah, I mean, the racing up front has been fantastic, not to discount what's happening through the back. There's a lot of great driving happening back there, but up front it has been entertaining, and tough break for James Tiernan. And ultimately, yeah, you kind of saw there the right rear. He just missed that entry into turn one, and we've talked about how this track changes, and already we can see, Chase, how it's starting to slick off after the water truck came out, and maybe a little bit less grip than what he expected. The cushion didn't quite catch him, and that's all she wrote for James Tiernan.
Tiernan not going to be happy about that performance there. The lights are already out on the pace truck here. The iRacing.com safety truck. Pace laps go by very, very quickly here at Lanier Speedway. And we're going to go green again here. It's going to be Robert Dalby and Aiden Purdue back on the gas. And Purdue with a fantastic start on the outside. He'll lead the field into 1 and 2 on the top side. Dalby will throw another slide on him. Dalby's into the wall. Oh, man, how do you keep it on all fours? Now he gets hit from behind, and they're scattering everywhere down the backstretch, Tony.
Yeah, they're scattering everywhere down the backstretch, and as you would expect, caution is out. It's not the place to be right now, apparently, up front, Chase. Everybody's kind of been up front or had a shot at running up front. Dalby, Tiernan now, misfortune, they have been snake bit.
We talk about the driver of the 47 car right now. Riley Emig started 20th on the field. He is now up to the 8th position. Obviously, he's missed a couple of accidents, but he's definitely putting in work for the Hard Charger Award tonight. If there is one, Riley Emig definitely trying to take that home.
Yeah, and that might be a good shot for him. He was good in the B main and really showed a lot of strength down the bottom. We'll see if that can continue here in this one as the field continue to get aligned, and assuming they'll get situated here in just a moment or two, as Jesse Love going to get waved around the pace car. Apparently a little bit of a scoring snafu where he was a lap down, so they will get that corrected, and he'll rejoin at the tail of the field. Already, here we go, lining them back up, double file, and it's Aiden Purdue and Dayson Person. Where have we heard these names before? At the front of one of these races, Kenny Miller, Trevor Hallman, Jacob Denny, Emerson Axum, top 6 as we are off and racing yet again, just that quickly. On the loud pedal is Aiden Purdue, and he was able to clear Dayson Pursley, and I guess that's why it's important to get on the gas early, as we've got bigger problems behind them. 4 or 5 cars up in the air and up and over. Stefan Sider is one of them. Josh Newman caught a piece of it. Will Armitage also involved, as were a number of others. That happened from about the 5th spot on back, Chase.
Yeah, it looks like it all started here with the number 1 car of Trevor Holman. He gets hit by Emerson Axum, turns him backwards, and then everyone that was on the top of the racetrack fully committed to running on the cushion right there in 1 and 2. They came in like a train and just absolutely destroyed that 1 car of Holman, and somehow he's able to keep that car on all 4 wheels and keep on digging here, but not after getting hit by just about every single car on the field. But that caution really saved your race leader, Aiden Purdue, as Pursley was setting him up for a big slider into 3 and 4 that time by, but caution came out, and Pursley was going to have to wait on that one, as Purdue will still take the lead, or he'll lead here under caution. And man, he got a great restart there on that last time through. He went pretty early. As soon as the pace truck pulled off, he wasted no time and was trying to get a gap between himself and Pursley, who's been basically unstoppable in midget competition on iRacing.com for these big races over the last couple weeks. So Purdue knows that he needs to get away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Purdue, pretty stout racer in his own right. So let's not exclude him by any means from the elite category, but certainly Pursley, one of the ones everybody's talking about. Whoa, who was that? Somebody tried massive slider on the bottom, got into a couple of guys about 4th on back, but it just about worked out for him. I think that might have been Jacob Denny that tried that, but he triggered a bit of a pileup behind him, and now we're under caution yet again.
That was a huge accident. It started in turn 1 and ended halfway down the back straightaway. Jacob Denny, what a move, but wow, we got to try and get a replay. I don't know who that was. I got to go back here and look, but somebody got hit and turned dead left down the straightaway and hooked somebody head on the back straightaway wall. That was a tough one. I believe it was Kenny Miller. Yep, it was Kenny Miller, and man, he absolutely destroyed Rylan Gray and sent him for a ride. Also getting collected, it looks like Stefan Sador. So a big accident there, which takes out 5, maybe even 6 drivers as we're working. We're over halfway left in this thing, and we actually only got 14, maybe even 13 laps when we go back green here, Tony. So they're winding out pretty quick, and we need these guys to kind of step up their game and get some green flag laps in here, because once we go green, it's an incredible race up front for the lead.
Yeah, it's an incredible race, and Persley now being shown as the race leader, able to be ahead of the moment of caution ultimately, so he'll have command of this one over Aiden Purdue, Emerson Axum, Jacob Denny, and everybody else. And yeah, the attrition also taking its toll. 7 cars at the very least out of this one, and actually take that back, about 9 cars being shown out of the lead lap, at least at the very moment. Meanwhile, green flag is in the air. Persley on the loud pedal. 1 car hit the tire barrier at the pit exit, bounced back into traffic. His day is done, and unfortunately that brings out the yellow yet again.
Bryce Dews taking a couple of tumbles here down the back straightaway in that number 23 car after he already got hit by Jake Newman. And then Robert Dalby also got a piece of it. A couple of different accidents there at the same time, but ultimately Bryce Dews flips over by himself after tagging the back straightaway wall. So Bryce Dews has been involved in a couple accidents. We got 1 car upside down, just went back to the pit area. So a couple of guys running into issues here late in this race here at Lanier. We're now under 10 laps to go here for this race for the POWRi West Midgets here on iRacing.com.
And as we had mentioned, was about 9 cars off the lead lap unofficially at the moment, waiting for scoring to cycle through. It appears 12, now 13 cars being shown on the lead lap. So certainly has been a race of attrition, and you wouldn't think that with a track that's this wide and got this much room to race. Usually you think smaller places, the ones you're going to tear some stuff up, but this one's been a bit of a doozy so far.
It sure has, and like you mentioned, a race of attrition for sure. So whoever is really still running right now with a car that's going straight, not towed out or towed in, or been upside down or anything, they're looking pretty good. Good start up front for Dason Persley. He's back on the throttle. How about our new second place rider, though, Jacob Denny? A great restart right there, and he's all over Persley as they go to the top of the racetrack. Look at Purdue, almost gets in front of Denny right there, slips back to third.
Yeah, I didn't think there was enough room for a car up there, but somehow apparently there was. And now Denny on the bottom trying to make something happen up front. What a fantastic race as he now is committed to the inside. And up top, Dason Persley trying to hold on to the race lead. Denny, though, giving him everything he can muster, everything he can handle. His top 2 pull away this time. Now it's 6 laps to go.
Just like that, the line is switched up big time here, Tony. Everyone on the wall for a majority of this race, and now your top 2 drivers way down on the inside hub right next to that wall. It's Persley up front with Denny giving him chase. 4 laps to go that time by the line. Third place is now the driver from 20th. It's Riley Emig in the 47 to 3rd, Trevor Holman in 4th, and Anton Hernandez 22nd to 5th.
Wow, certainly some comers and goers in this one. Emig, Hernandez having to come through that alphabet soup. They are up now, as you said, inside the top 5. And don't look now, but Emig is one of, if not the fastest car on the racetrack lap after lap. Only problem is kind of like we've seen earlier tonight in a couple of the heats, he's going to run out of time. This time by, just 3 laps to go as Persley beginning to stretch it out on Jacob Denny.
Persley consistently running better laps than Jacob Denny here. He's about 5 car lengths ahead of him now as they head into turns 3 and 4. This time by 2 laps to go from the virtual flag stand here at Lanier National Speedway. Dason Persley will see it, and next time by, he'll come down to the white flag. Denny giving chase, but he's about 5, maybe actually 6/10 behind that 9 car Persley. This time by, white flags in the air, and Persley looking for yet another win here with the POWRi West Midgets.
He's doing a good job, and I noticed the last few laps that Persley kind of diamonding the corner, sliding that car in, letting it kind of turn and then driving it straight off. That might be the difference between a win and second for him and Jacob Denny. And Persley off of turn number 4 is going to win yet again here in the Lucas Oil POWRi West Midget Racing League on iRacing. He'll claim the victory honors. Jacob Denny second. Riley Emig finishes 3rd. Emerson Axum recovers from a bad start early for 4th. And Anton Hernandez rounds out the top 5. So Dason Persley, no surprise, he is the man on top yet again as he and Jacob Denny park him on the front straightaway. Certainly something both drivers have to be proud of. That was a heck of a show.
It sure was, especially at the first half of the race was pretty incredible stuff there between Pursley, Purdue, and Robert Dalby. Those guys were putting on a great show for all these fans here in attendance at the virtual Lanier Speedway. The fans really not practicing social distancing, but it's all right. They got to see a great show here tonight. It looks like we've already got our winner here in the broadcast booth there, Tony Stevens. Dason Pursley yet again grabs another POWRi West victory. Dason, it didn't come easy, man. You battled hard with Aiden Purdue. Robert Dalby made a mistake and got taken out pretty early, but nonetheless, this racetrack put on a great show tonight.
Oh yeah, track got really wide and really slick quick. I wasn't expecting it to get that slick and then up on the wall like that, and then you had to be careful without hitting the wall. And then I think it's Jacob Denny rolled the bottom there, and he showed me it. I wasn't even ready to go down there, and then he showed his nose, and I knew I had to get to the bottom as quickly as possible.
It's pretty incredible, really, how these tracks, how quickly they change. I mean, the first 30 or so laps, you guys were all ripping around the outside, and then all of a sudden, Jacob Denny comes from out of nowhere on the bottom side. Did you think that if he stayed up top, you definitely would have lost the race? It seemed like Denny was pretty good down there.
Yeah, he was really good down there, and I wasn't even running the bottom the whole race because usually when they start the track, I think they start at like 22%, so it usually builds up a pretty good curb on the top. So usually when there's a curb like that until it goes away, it's usually the quickest way around Lanier, and then you can usually slide yourself in 3 and 4 all the way to the top. And then he was quick on the bottom, and I didn't even think that was going to come in at all, just because the top was so quick, and then I just had to get down there as quickly as possible.
We've seen it time and time again here at Lanier Speedway. Obviously not a real-life dirt track, but definitely one of the best tracks here on the iRacing sim for two-wide racing. Would you agree with that statement? It seems like every time we come here, whether it's just wing sprint cars, non-wing sprint cars, it's always put on a great race.
Oh yeah, it's nice and wide. The banking's really good, and it's hard to run the bottom here because it's kind of like a negative banking. So you kind of have to like enter on the bottom and then slide to the middle and then kind of come back down to the bottom again. It's a tricky place to run the bottom, but then you got to get up on the wall all the way around the top if you want to make the top work.
Well, Dason Pursley, your winner once again here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, watching on POWRi TV. Dason, I know you got some people you probably want to thank here.
Yeah, I like to thank Tub Esports once again, WR1 Sim Chassis, my mom and dad.
There he is, Dason Pursley, the winner tonight. Tony Stevens in second place. This guy gave Dason quite the challenge there in the last couple laps. That was Jacob Denny. We're going to get a word with him really quick here in a moment.
Yep, we will get a word with Jacob Denny, who came up one spot short here tonight. And Jacob, that slider from about 75th to first made us all kind of cringe and do a collective clinch, if you will. But somehow you got through it and made your way up into the top three and had a shot to win this thing. What was the difference between ending up second and maybe leading this thing at the end?
Um, I probably should have went to the bottom a little bit earlier, but other than that, that was a really great race. It was a really racy track. That was probably the best race all of all the races that we've had all year. Not all year in this series, but that was a fun race.
Again, it certainly looked like, at least from where we were at. How much did this racetrack change? We heard from Dason about how he didn't expect the bottom to come in like it did and how you guys were all having to search around a little bit. How much did it really change? How challenged were you as a driver to find the fast lane each time around?
Yeah, it changed a lot. It was on kind of the bottom, middle-ish at the beginning, and then went up to the top. And then I had no idea it was gonna go to the bottom until I had that restart on the bottom, and I found it first, which was nice. But it changed a lot throughout the race.
Well, next week, the talk is that these midgets will be at the famed Eldora Speedway, the Big E up in Ohio. And certainly a very unique racetrack, very wide like this one, but very different in the same vein. So, what do you think we can expect from you and everybody else at Eldora?
That race would be even racier than this, though. We should put on a better show than we did this weekend.
Well, we certainly hope for that, and that's gonna be hard to do to put on a better show than we had this one. It was pretty doggone good. That's Jacob Denny. He finishes third here second here this evening, as the guy who finished third, Chase, also available, and he probably put on one of the biggest drives of the night, and that's Riley M.
Riley Emmett, great run tonight, man. 20th up to third, bottom step on the podium. When you start that far back in the main event there and you see 40 laps, you see the names that are involved in this series, did you think you had even a shot to be talking to us here tonight?
I don't really know. I kind of just ran my race. I didn't really care about whose name was in there. I just wanted to finish pretty much and try God. get up as far as I could.
What was your strategy there heading into that race? Obviously, a lot of slide jobs being thrown and a lot of accidents to go along with those slide jobs. Was your game plan kind of just to and miss the wrecks, or were you just elbows up and digging towards the front there the entire time?
Kind of both. I tried missing all the wrecks I could, and I missed all of them but one. Lost the front a little bit, but that's all that really affected me.
How cool is it to be standing on the podium? I guess well, probably sitting on the podium tonight with the POWRi West Midget League here on iRacing. A lot of really, really good drivers, a ton of real life drivers as well. A lot like real life midget drivers, I should say, in this series. And finishing third, that's got to be a pretty good accomplishment for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've really, since this quarantine stuff, I've been on iRacing a lot because I have nothing else to do, and I feel like I'm actually starting to develop, getting better at the game.
Absolutely. Well, Tony Stevens and myself know that the more laps you run, the better you get here on the iRacing sim. Riley Emmett, great job tonight. Anybody you got to thank or sponsors like that?
No one really. I just like thank CSI Shocks and Triple X Chassis for my real life car. That's about it. And MX81 Diner.
Well, there he is, Riley Emmett, 47 car tonight, went 20th up to third. That'll be our final interview of the night. And Tony, these drivers heading off to Eldora Speedway, the house that Earl built, Big E, El Dorado, whatever you want to call it, man. That is the most famous dirt track in the world, and these POWRi West Midget drivers are going to be putting on a hell of a show there next week, I'm sure.
Cannot wait for that. Going to be a dandy for sure. And you can catch every lap here on POWRi TV, Speed Sport TV, and our affiliate partners as well, wherever those happen to be on their various social channels. Is the good news, Chase? We hope to get back to racing sooner rather than later. There are some states and some regions that are starting to open up some things. I know, I think I heard Missouri, a place that maybe going to be able to go racing here soon. Looks like the state of Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, perhaps some other places in the country are going to have some racing sooner rather than later. And of course, whether they're POWRi racing or not, we're going to have them all listed on the Speed Sport TV website. You can check all that out and find access and how to get to all those events. And I say all, there's a handful of them that'll be on there this weekend, and we certainly are glad to have them aboard, no doubt. But can't wait to see POWRi TV at an actual racetrack, not a virtual one.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be super, super cool for the first race back. And, we've already seen a couple of sanctioning bodies and individual racetracks saying that they're going to be, coming out and running a race here. So we just saw that the Outlaws announced they're going to be racing at Knoxville on May 8th. So I think that's really the first step, I guess we could say there, Tony, probably the biggest sanctioning body in dirt racing coming through and saying that they're going to be doing a race. No fans or anything like that, but a great sign of things to come for the real life stuff for sure.
Certainly is, and it's going to be different, certainly with the different laws and regulations with crowds and gatherings and things like that. But I think it was proved this past weekend over at the new Raceway Park over there on Speed Sport TV that you can get the job done. I mean, everybody was able to be masked up and separated. Now, obviously, with the way this progresses, it takes a little bit of time to see if everything worked out according to plan. But I've got a feeling we'll see that's exactly what will happen is these things will work out the way they need to, and we'll slowly get back to quote unquote normal. And we can only hope for that. But again, we'd love to see POWRi Midgets back on track very, very soon. Encourage everybody to stop on over to POWRi TV and grab themselves a subscription. If you're looking for more on-demand content during your own isolation, there's a full library as well at Speed Sport TV and their various affiliate partners. So plenty of racing content to go. And Chase, next week at Eldora, again, looking for a show, and can't wait till next Tuesday night.
It's going to be really, really exciting. The Big E always puts on a great show, especially with the midgets. So treacherous there. You hit the wall, and things are never going to go right. So these drivers are going to have to be really, really careful at that place. Obviously going to be seeing big sliders like we saw tonight at Lanier Speedway. Tony, really excited to get there. Hopefully I can make it into the booth a little bit earlier in the night to watch the heat races and the lower main events. Those are always fun to call with you. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I'll either be commenting on it with you or I'll be watching on POWRi TV.
Well, that's certainly a good thing for sure. So we look forward to that. On behalf of Ryan Bowling over in the production truck, virtually or otherwise, and Chris Grainer behind the scenes, Chase Rodman here in the booth, the entire staff here at not only POWRi, but of course the POWRi West Midget Racing League on iRacing. For everyone, we want to say good night, God bless, and I'm Tony Stevens saying we'll see you next time at a racetrack, be it virtual or otherwise. Till then, so long, everybody.